Go Go Power Rangers! I can't believe I was into them. It really makes me cringe. Ooh. Welcome to this week's episode of Michael's Retro Game Reviews. Now, this game was not a game I sought after, but was included in the big box of Mega Drive games I recently bought on eBay. Now, as you do, you give each of the games a good clean and at least 5 minutes in the Mega Drive to make sure it's working. So when it came to playing this game, 5 minutes soon turned into an hour, and not only was I still playing it, but I was really enjoying it. So for this week's episode of Michael's Retro Game Reviews, I'll be reviewing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie game for the Mega Drive/Genesis. On the surface, this looks like a below average movie tie-in game, but as soon as you hear that wicked intro music, you know there's going to be something more than just an average game. Graphically, this is a strong looking game with bright vibrant colours, wildly looking levels, and a theme that doesn't completely focus on the movie licence it's based on. Most of the levels focus on events set before the movie in the original TV show. If you're a Power Rangers fan, you're going to love that, as you can play as previous members of the Power Rangers and even control older Zoids in the big robot vs monster showdowns. About the characters, each of the Power Rangers plays slightly different. The White and Red Ranger tends to have the strongest attack, but are the slowest, and when playing as the Pink and Yellow Ranger, they tend to have the weakest attack, but are very fast. Because of that added speed, you can chain attacks together quickly to defeat enemies faster, so it's a fair trade-off. And lastly, the Blue and Black Ranger, yes, you can probably guess the somewhere in the middle, so experiment and find what type of Ranger best suits you. But a lot of what I'm saying is just my opinion. I've got no manual or even stats to suggest their strengths or weaknesses, but games like this, it is given that each character is going to play a little bit different. You won't find yourself getting bored with the moves on offer, as there's a fair amount to learn. They're pretty simple to pull off, and I learnt most of them without even needing a manual. So, if you're into games like this, you'll be able to figure them out very quickly, as anyone who's played as many side-scrolling beat-em-ups as I have will find pulling off the moves intuitive and designed to be learnt quickly by people who are into these games. Something that lets down a lot of beat-em-ups is having to be on the exact same plane as the guy you're about to attack. This game nails it, as you don't have to be 100% at the same plane to attack an enemy. This stops the game from becoming frustrating and instead becomes rewarding because you're not punished for being slightly off target. This is almost a perfect game, but not for one thing. The length of the levels, they just go on for way too long. This is a minor flaw, but the levels go on way too long to the point of outstaying their welcome. At first I thought maybe I was overreacting and the levels in this game weren't really that long. So I did a test. I played and timed the first level of Golden Axe and Streets of Rage and timed the shortest level in this game, which is level 3. So here are my findings. The first level of Golden Axe took about 2 minutes and 42 seconds, and that was taking my time. Stage 1 of Streets of Rage took about 4 minutes and 12 seconds, and again that was taking my time, with of course time devoted to appreciating the lovely whipping ladies. Hey, how are you doing? Ow! Now the whopper, and prepare yourself. In level 3 in Power Rangers, which is the shortest level by the way, took 5 minutes and 32 seconds, and this is the shortest level, and some of the others are easily double that. When playing games like this, you don't want levels to be too long, otherwise you risk the player getting bored. I would say the sweet spot is about 3.5 minutes to 4 minutes. I can see how this problem came about. Think about it. As we transitioned from short form gameplay to more longer forms, what was the first thing to happen? Games started lasting longer. So we went from Golden Axe, which was a decent arcade game, but in the hands of a seasoned gamer could be finished quickly, and onto Streets of Rage, which wasn't an arcade port, it was made for the home. And what was the first thing they did to appease a more experienced gamer? Make the levels longer. So with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, guess what they did? Tried to one up the competition by making the levels even longer. But there is a silver lining. When playing this game, I was trying to find ways to get through each level quicker, and in that mindset it actually made playing this game more fun. So if you had the same problems as me, give this game another go and follow these tips to get through the levels quicker and vastly enjoy this game more. First tip, take every opportunity to attack more than one enemy. Reason for this is, as you attack, you might as well damage as many enemies as possible, and this overall will shorten the time it takes to complete each wave. And the upside to doing that is the less time you spend fighting, the less chances you have to take damage. Second, throw your enemies as much as possible. Doing this does the most amount of damage to them, and if you throw an enemy into a group of other enemies, you cause as a whole a lot of damage to the guy you've just thrown, and some damage to the group you've just thrown the bad guy onto. So throwing does a lot of damage and should be done as much as possible. Third, avoid one-on-one attacking. Don't spend all your time attacking one enemy because you have other bad guys waiting for a butt kicking. It makes more sense to focus most of your attacks in a way that causes the most amount of damage to more than one bad guy. So, if you follow my advice, you'll be able to drastically reduce the time it takes to complete each level and circumvent this game's really only major flaw. I could so easily gush on how incredible this game's soundtrack is, but a good friend of mine could say it much better than I could.
And the soundtrack is really good. It's got a lot of raw, really great energy tracks to them. Have you ever played the game?
Actually, I do have it, and I find that this is one of those titles where the soundtrack actually overshadows the actual game. The game does not live up to what the actual soundtrack is. It doesn't even almost suit the cartridge that it was released with. Actually, there's most games where you'd actually put the tracks on mute and just play the game itself. But this is sort of the reverse, where you want to hear the track but not even play the game.
I think that's why I like the game so much. I think that's why I always keep playing the game, because of the music.
Yeah, that's not a first for me. I've got quite a few that are basically the same as that aspect.
Playing this game made me realise you should never judge a game by the cartridge label, and to give it at least 5 minutes. What do you have to lose? You risk nothing, but possibly have the chance to discover a hidden gem to add proudly to your game collection. So, my final thoughts. Don't let the fact this is a Power Rangers game put you off. It's an addictive 2D beat 'em up with decent graphics and one mother kick-ass soundtrack. Now, as most gamers pass this game by, their loss means that you can pick this up relatively cheaply. Heck, my copy was included in a bundle of 20 games for £20, which means this game only cost me £1. At that price, you can't complain. So on that note, I give this game the thumb of approval. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.